Okay, so what we have here is, let me show you, the Webley Mark 6 service revolver. All right. It's a replica. It's 4.5 millimeters. 3 joules is all we're allowed in the UK. A real one would be 300 joules. So it's not particularly powerful, but it is on the legal limit. This is the original 1915 design, and it's rather nice. So this might be a challenge to do whilst holding a camera, but you can break the gun in half by pressing that. This is just like the original. It flips open, and notice that. See how the cartridges come out as you break the gun. And what you do, just carefully, there we go, let's take one out. You put your ammunition in there, just in the tip of the cartridge. And then it snaps back together. Here is the safety. All right, at the moment it's off. There we are. That's ready to fire now. And your first shot, you cock back the hammer. Let's just put the safety back on, though, if I can. Actually, I don't think I can with the hammer cocked. Can I uncock it? I don't really want to have it cocked. Okay, that's a bit of a bummer. I didn't really want to have that cocked and ready to fire. It seems you can't uncock it once you've cocked it. All right. Let's just make sure I don't point that anywhere near myself. Right. What I was just going to show, this is why I'm fidgeting around with it, is how... There we are. How you actually arm the device. Okay, so we have here in the handle, that is the 12-gram CO2 cartridge there, and I have another one. And what you do is just pop it in there, and then notice they call it a lanyard. I'm not entirely sure why they call it a lanyard, but that bit, rather than an Allen key, as with the Luger, you just twist this around. It's a good idea, just put a little bit of valve oil on the top of your cylinder, and it can just work its way through the device, and it will prolong it, and it will maybe make the O-rings last a bit longer. And what they also recommend, just while we're on the subject, is with those cartridges, one of the 6 is, they say, put a little bit of valve oil on that as well, and it would just help to oil the device. It can be field stripped. I'm not going to do anything like that now, because unfortunately I've cocked it and I can't uncock it. I need to shoot this in a second. But it's rather nice. So just a little bit about the history of this gun. The Mark IV, I believe, was the one that was in service in the Boer War. It was being privately purchased by a lot of officers and men for the Boer War. Come the arrival of the First World War, it was the Mark V that we were on to. And again, many people had privately purchased it. But come 1915, obviously the government was just looking to buy sidearms from wherever they could. So this was not exclusive. It wasn't just, it wasn't the gun that everybody had. But I believe an order for something like 10,000 or something of the Mark VI. This is 1915 now. The Mark VI, this is a 1915 patent, as you can see there. A large order was put in, and it became, the probably the most common of the sidearms in the First World War, as of 1915. Come the Second World War, it was not the official one. We had an official gun then, which was an Enfield device, but it was still very popular. Just in the First War, incidentally, it was not limited to officers. You think an officer has a sidearm. He does, but in actual fact, machine gunners would be issued with them, because obviously, if someone's rushing you, you're gonna need a sidearm rather than a machine gun. You can't swing that thing around with its big belt on it and all the rest. You need a sidearm. Anyone that was going out raiding in the trenches would have one. Various people were issued with these. And there were a number of different versions. They made ones with bayonets on the end, if you can believe it. Imagine a bayonet sticking out the end of this. They made ones with rapid use clips. So it's what I think called a moon clip. So basically, those 6 have to be loaded individually, but what they did is they issued clips where you can have the 6 already, and you literally break the gun open, as I did before. I don't think I can do it now, I've cocked it, but break it open, and you stick in the 6, rip off the clip, snap it shut, and then you got your 6 shots. there were a few other Oh, yes, that's it. That's what I was going to mention. They also made one that had a stock on it, and that sort of enabled you to use it almost like a rifle. Because this is a very large caliber gun. I didn't mention it's the original was .455. It was a very large Webley cartridge, a very powerful cartridge. Mine, unfortunately, is 4.5mm, so not quite the same. But yeah, it's a powerful cartridge, and so this was a powerful and accurate gun, and very reliable. In the trenches, you could get mud on it, sand on it, dirt on it, much like an AK-47, you know, from later years. You know, you can sort of leave the thing in, you know, river for 2 days and it's still going to work after. The Webley Revolver, this one, the Mark 6, was extremely reliable under all circumstances. So, very nice weapon and really nice metal finish. And this is a very good replica of it. What you shouldn't do, though, is leave the cylinder in. So I'm going to have to literally fire off a lot of shots. Or maybe just fire it without any ammo in it and exhaust that, because you're not meant to leave it loaded. Well, it's yeah, you should never leave it loaded and ready to fire. So, but certainly that cylinder needs to be exhausted, because I've had that in for a couple of days, and you're not really meant to store them with the CO2 cartridge still there. I still prefer my Luger, but I do like this Webley Mark 6.